Are there any drummers in the house?
I play percussion. Because he couldn't play anything else.
Shut up. Come here, dude. Hey, man. Did you touch my drum set? I am warning you right now, if you touch my drum, I will stab you in the neck with a knife. Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Drumheads podcast. My name is Daniel, and this is episode 103 with Dan Kerby, aka DK Drums. What? I know the soundboard is crazy. Yes, this was great. It was great to have Dan on the podcast. It's one of those things. I have been following him for years on Instagram, and I think he's followed me. So, we've had this, admiration of both of each other's pages and whatnot. And, he reached out and said, hey, I'd love to do the podcast. I'm like, yes, let's do it. So it was great. And this is kind of like the first podcast in the new studio. So I can not have to worry about waking up my kids. So, yeah. So if you're not familiar with Dan, he is an Australian drummer based out of Melbourne. And he tours, he's plays a couple of bands, he also teaches, so just a great dude. It was a great conversation. We talked over Skype because he's in Australia, I'm here in North Carolina, and so the beauty of the internet, so awesome, love it. So yeah, go check him out, go follow him on Instagram, go like him on YouTube. He's putting up videos, and he's kind of like me. He just got his own space, so he can start recording and doing, more videos and stuff like that. So it was fun to talk to him. It's great to get back into it. We're on baby alert right now. Next week is the due date, so podcasts are gonna be kind of weird for a little bit. Trying to record them around baby things. So yeah, but it was great to have Dan on. We kind of geeked out about Blink-182, punk rock and all that stuff, and he just has one of the sickest looking kids. He's got one of those Pearl Crystal kits. They're acrylic ones, so cool. Got the lights, it's all tricked out, and yeah, I just love the internet, and it's so fun to talk to people from different backgrounds. Second Australian back on the podcast, so yeah. I don't know what else to say, but here it is. Episode 103 with Dan Kerby. Rostahorn. What? Check it out. Hey guys, I just want to take a moment and thank everybody who supports the show. We're in the studio now, and I just want to take a moment to thank some people who helped make this all happen. So Van from VK Drums, donated a snare drum to the podcast, so I was able to sell it. That helped get the computer. All the other companies, Predator, ANF, Era, Salt, Love, Custom Drums, and who am I forgetting? Ugh, it's gonna bug me. Anyways, yes, all these companies who support the the page and all that stuff. So I just wanted to give them a shout out, a big thank you for everything they do. And so the studio is dedicated to them for making all this happen. So thank you, you guys rock.
Hey guys, there are multiple ways you can help out the podcast. First is you can go to iTunes and leave a positive review of the podcast. So you could put 5 stars for the podcast. Also subscribing to it. So if you have a iPhone, it's super easy because you have a podcast app built into your phone. So go type in the Drumheads. We will pop up and you hit subscribe. That is one of the best ways to help out the podcast. Like I said, great reviews on iTunes, positive messages and stuff like that. Also, if you want to become a Patreon member, this is something I'm going to start pushing a little hard right now. So just go and just be, if it's $1 a month, all the money that's going to be coming into the Patreon account will be to help the podcast grow, so we can maybe pay for the staff instead of having everybody volunteer, and stuff like that. And then just to keep up with, updates with everything that goes on with doing a podcast. So if you can become a Patreon member, that would be awesome. Also, if you just want to make a donation, you can go to our PayPal account. Also, be sure to go like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. I'm pretty sure you're already on Instagram and you've liked us there, but if you are new to Instagram, go check us out there. That's our biggest following right there. And just, thank you. So all that, Patreon, iTunes, liking, subscribing, all helps out the podcast. So thank you very much.
Hey man, what's happening?
Hey man, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
That's the way. How's the wife going with the baby?
She's good. I think she just overworked it
jumped
yesterday.
the gun?
Yeah. Well, she's still running around like she's not 39 weeks pregnant or whatever. I'm like, calm down. You're gonna just it's gonna just pop out. So yeah, she's like, I think I'm going in labor, and we get there, and she's like, we're sitting there, she's like, oh, never mind, false alarm. I'm like, figures.
Oh, that's all right, man.
Yeah, it's
as long as it's all good.
Yep, it's all good. It's just it's a waiting game, and it's so nerve-wracking.
I bet. So how far through is she?
She's due next week, so
oh wow,
it could be any time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It could even potentially happen through the podcast.
Yeah, but just can you wait like 15 more minutes? Yeah. She'd be like, no. Yeah. No,
good.
She took it easy today, so
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Hey, I like the podcast, man. I like the Instagram page. I've been following the Drumheads podcast for ages. I followed it before I even knew it was a podcast.
Yeah, I know. I think I started following you way back in the day as well. I think you did some contest with Zildjian. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then
yeah, that's right. I think I did a giveaway. It might have been the giveaway. I gave away a symbol.
Yeah,
it might have been something like that.
Yeah, and I'm like, there's all these people on Instagram. I'm like, oh, I should have that person on, and I'm like, I'm halfway like, scared to ask because I'm like, I'm just some random dude, but
yeah. No, I love it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I love doing this stuff. It's good fun.
Cool, man. So you're in Melbourne, right?
I'm in Melbourne. Yeah.
Okay.
All the way on the other side of the world.
I listen to a lot of podcasts where the comedians are from Australia and Melbourne in particular.
Yeah, like what? Like, see, I'm not up to date with comedy, but I know like Jim Jeffries is big.
Yeah, Will Anderson.
Will Anderson, yeah.
Yeah, Will Anderson.
That's crazy. You listen to him, yeah.
Yeah, Steele Saunders. He has a podcast, I Love Green Guide Letters, which that's a Melbourne. That's a Melbourne thing, right? The Green Guide Letters.
I don't even know what that is, to be honest.
I think it's like a local publication or something. They just make fun of like the write-ins or something. But yeah,
yeah.
And
who else? Is that it?
Oh, he does two.
That's a few.
Yeah, he does Steel Wars, which is like a podcast. It's half comedy, half Star Wars fandom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. See, I listen to Joe Rogan all the time. I was just driving to my mum's house today, which was about an hour and 20, and just listening to Joe the whole way. I listen to Joe every day. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Well, luckily with his, they're like 3 hours, so it's like you could really...
Yeah.
You could take a long drive and...
Sink in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not get bored. And I actually went to see Tony Hinchcliffe. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was out here only probably a month ago. I went and saw his stand-up, which was cool. And actually, when I was in LA last, I went to the Comedy Store twice. I was staying across the road. I saw Joe Rogan and Joe Dirt. What's his name?
Oh, David Spade.
Yeah, David Spade.
Yeah.
Man, then just a whole bunch of people who I didn't know, but they were awesome, man. Such a good spot, the Comedy Store.
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, it's funny because you got so many Australian like comedians that like come here like during the summer months, because LA's nice all year round.
Yeah.
Even though right now it's on fire, but
Yeah, how's that?
Oh, I saw that like Simon Phillips's place got destroyed. I'm like, no
way.
Like, this is crazy.
It's up in Beverly Hills, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Bel Air, sorry.
Yeah, well, and like Stuart Copeland put up a picture, and you could see like the smoke in the foreground. I'm like, oh, this is not good.
That's hectic. And near the Getty Center, is it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw some footage. There's footage over here getting around of, I don't know if it's over there as well, but there was a car driving on the freeway, and it was just shot from someone's phone. And
I think
like the sign was Getty image, and it like just was like World War III.
Yeah.
Hectic.
Yeah, I think Joe Rogan posted that on his Instagram. I think I saw it on there.
Yes, I saw it on there as well.
Yeah.
That's on the news and stuff over here. That's being played everywhere.
Yeah, it's insane,
this
weather.
It's hot and dry and windy, yeah?
Yeah.
So where do those winds come from? Is it Santa Ana?
I think it's the Santa Ana winds. I think it's El Niño's going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nuts.
Right now it's freezing where I live, so I'm like, ugh. So
where
nice.
are you?
I'm on the East Coast in North Carolina, so I'm on the cold side of the country.
Wow.
Yeah, in the
that
mountains.
Is a trip. I thought you were in LA for whatever reason. I just assume everybody drummer's from LA.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like the other guy that does the podcast, Seamus, he does that Drummer's Gab. He's like up in the middle of Canada. Just.
Oh no way.
I had him on mine. I'm like. We're talking like, we're just two random guys just doing podcasts from, he's doing it in his flower shop and I'm in my shed,
How crazy is that it spreads so far?
Well, cool, man.
Very cool.
Well, I kind of like the way we came into this. I might just leave it in and,
Yeah, bro. Yeah. For sure.
So,
that sounds good.
If you guys are listening, I'm joined by Dan. Is it Kerby?
Kerby, that's the one. Yeah, it's confused. I've had some Americans meet me through the internet, and they think my name's Dan Kerby. Dan Kerby, just like one word.
Okay.
Dan Kerby. But yeah, Dan Kerby.
Yeah, I was right before I was putting my other. I have three kids total, fourth one coming. But I put my sons to bed, and I'm flipping through, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to interview this guy from Australia. And my son's like, he's 7. He's starting to get into music, and I think it was one of the last videos you posted. You were at some show, and he's like, wow, he's really good at drums. I think he's better than you, Dad. I'm like, thanks.
Oh, I like the sound of your son. He sounds cool.
Yeah, he's like, he also has a cooler drum set than you. I'm like, all right, I know, I get it. You're rubbing it in.
Oh, that's funny. The shiny lights.
Yeah, he loves that.
The kids be all over that.
Yeah, and it just sounds good,
Yeah, man, it sounds sick. Yeah, it's just a crystal beat, as you've probably seen, and I got a new snare, Reference Pure by Pearl, 13 by 6.5. I've got a few mates over here who use them, and it just sounds epic. As soon as I heard their snares, I was like, oh my god, I'm jumping on that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it sounds good.
He's at that age where he's very impressionable. He's like, what song was that? I'm like, I don't know. We'll have to research it. It was a live show you were doing, and he was just like, I like that. I like the music. I'm like, I like it. Let's figure it out. I'll figure it out. I'll ask him. So
I'm not sure what it would have been.
I'll have to.
I'll have to look at. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the last ones. It's probably a Bliss Finesse track.
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
I think
I'm not
so.
Sure. I'll figure it out and get back to it.
Yeah, but I guess let's just start from the beginning. So, I always ask this question, did you come from a musical family?
I did, man. So my dad was a drum teacher and a musician, basically. So I just grew up around drums, to be honest. Ever since I can remember, I was just drumming. So I started off on cushions when I was like maybe 2. I used to get butter knives and hit cushions, just kind of emulating what my dad was doing. And then just kind of, as soon as I could, I'd kind of make a bit of noise on his kit, and then got my own kit when I was 4. And then just kind of progressed for fun, and then kind of took it more seriously when I got to high school, and it's just pretty much been going at it since then, really, which has been, I'm 30, so it's, I don't know, I've been going at it for quite a while, since I was 12, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm really giving it a good go. So, yeah, very musical family, man. And lucky to have a dad who was a drum teacher pretty much. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? I didn't really have to go out and source it. It was just right there all along. So that was pretty cool.
Did he kind of like guide you, or did he kind of just let you organically find, what you kind of liked?
Yeah, so it was pretty organic just at the start. Like, he would kind of show me a few things and just let me go whilst I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And I'd just literally sit in the shed. We had like a garage out the back of the house, and I'd just sit in there for hours just playing. And then he's got a course which is extensive, and I teach that course now as well. Mm-hmm. So I kind of jumped onto that when I was probably 10, and I just kind of would go at it relatively slowly until I hit high school when I was 12, and then there were some other kids my age doing the same course, and it was like a competition because it was in sheets. So like it'd be a race to see who was ahead, and there was this other really good guy in my year. So I was just competing with him the whole way through high school. So I kind of like, you know what I mean? I was just like launching into it, and I used to get so angry when I couldn't do things. And he wouldn't tick them off. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? He'd be like, no, not yet. And I'm like, just sit in the drum room and scream when I couldn't do things.
Yeah, totally.
But he taught me more when I kind of was searching for it.
Nice. Well, so
you know what I mean? Yeah.
So who was that first drummer that kind of really resonated with you?
The first one for me, and I'm sure it shows in my playing, and I'm sure there's a gazillion kids in the world who have this influence, but it was Travis Barker. And that was in high school, man, when I was 12. Like, before I really saw him play, I didn't really have a strong influence of someone who I wanted to play like. I just kind of liked drums and liked playing them. But yeah, I saw him over here with Blink-182. They were doing it was after Enema of the State tour, and I was at Rod Laver Arena, so it's a big arena here, maybe like 15 to 20,000, and I just remember watching him go ballistic, and I was just like, wow, that is cool. I want to do that.
Were they on tour with Green Day at that time?
No, I think it was before that. They were on tour with a local band called Body Jar.
Okay.
Yeah, who were cool. They were on the first Tony Hawk skateboarding game. They had like a track on that. So I still remember that track, man. That was sick. They had Goldfinger was on there, Body Jar, I think Rage Against the Machine. It was cool.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. I'm friends with the Body Jar guys now, so that's a bit of a trip, because I remember watching them when I was 12, just going, man, these dudes rule. So, but yeah, it was Travis Barker.
Okay.
The man. Still is. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And, I saw them with Green Day back in 2001, I want to say.
Yeah, on the Honda tour or something, was it?
I think it was. And
I remember the ads for that.
And Green Day was opening for Blink-182, because at that point, Green Day was kind of on like the, not the decline, but they were just in that lull, I guess you could say, of their career. Yep. And, it was a couple years later, American Idiot came out, but I remember just be like, the two punk bands I absolutely love together on the same stage, and it was just,
cool.
It was great.
That's so cool. I actually saw Blink, because Blink haven't been out to Australia I saw them last time they were here, and it was like 2004. Like long, because obviously I don't think Travis flies.
Yeah.
But I actually saw them. I was in the States last year, and I saw them play in Philadelphia.
Oh.
And man, it was huge. Such a massive gig. They played with The Day to Remember and maybe All Time Low. But it was huge, man. I reckon there would have been 30,000 people there. It was epic.
Nice.
It was cool to see them still crushing it.
Oh, yeah.
That much, all those years later.
He's one of those drummers. I don't know why he gets such like a bad rap with some people. Some people just like to kind of just shit all over him about his playing. I'm like,
don't they?
I don't get it.
Yeah, man, he rips. He's that entertaining to watch as well.
Yeah. And he...
I love him.
I felt like he brought back kind of like the Buddy Rich kind of making drums more mainstream, and he did a lot of good for the drumming community, in my opinion.
Oh, fully, man. He did heaps of good. Like, he almost even just changed the way people set up their kits. Like, I remember, I mean, for me personally, before I saw him play, I'd have 2 toms up and 1 down. And then, like, kind of when he came out on the scene, I just noticed everyone just had their kit set up like Travis Barker. Every band that I played with, you know, there was these kids just playing with kits like Trav. And, you know, guys like that, they do so much for the drumming community. They inspire just thousands of kids, you know.
Yeah, totally.
To pick up drums and play drums and whatever. It's even like Lars from Metallica. He cops so much shit, but he's still the drummer from Metallica.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. If he wasn't in the band, like, they wouldn't sound like Metallica.
No, they're because even
you know,
go ahead.
Like, even what he's done for the drumming community, how many kids have learnt drums because of Metallica, you know? It's huge.
Yeah, and you see those videos on YouTube where I think he might have gotten, you know, injured or something like that, and you'll have, like, someone like Joey from Slipknot, you know, behind the kit or whoever. Yeah. You could see, like, he's influenced by him, but it's not Lars. You know, it's he's part of Metallica, so, you know.
Absolutely.
We're not asking Lars to go play like Dave Matthews or something, you know. He's playing metal, and it fits what he's doing.
It does fully. So, yeah, man. So first influence was Travis Barker, and that was huge, man. Because once I kind of saw how he played, it kind of gave me a bit of a different perspective of drumming, and I changed kind of the way I looked at it a little bit, and how, you know, there was potential to play like that, kind of chaotic, high energy type style. It was really cool, man. And then I just learned a whole bunch of Blink songs from there, and that kind of just catapulted me into a different direction, I guess. It was cool.
Were you in a Blink-182 cover band?
No, I wasn't. I did do a couple of Blink. You know what? The first song it would have been the third song I ever played in a band was All the Small Things. And then we also covered Damn It.
Yeah.
That was the fourth song I ever learnt with the band.
Yep.
So yeah, you know, it was up there.
Yeah.
It definitely started things. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in a Blink-182 cover band in high school, and, you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we did Damn It. We did Carousel. We did.
Sick. How did your bass player go with Carousel with the start riff?
He actually did relatively good. He played guitar as well, but he also liked to, you know, do bass. So he kind of learned that rhythmic part real good for, you know, just having that mix.
That was a tricky one. That's a tricky one for a high school kid.
Yeah. Well, I think he was a little bit older than me, so I think that he was in college, so we were he was a little bit more advanced. Yeah.
Got ya.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But no, it's all good stuff, man. I get some of my students now to go through a few Blink songs, like All the Small Things is a goodie to get them through, and yeah, it's sick.
So you did you do, like, you know, concert band and all that stuff in high school? Yeah,
I did. We had what did we do? I had, like, we called them, oh man, it was concert band. We had special names for them. There was different ones. There was, like, kind of contemporary ones where we'd do, like, Chili Peppers and stuff like that.
Oh, no way. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was called, like, the Whiz Bang Orchestra. That was a pretty funny name. But so that was kind of cool. And then there was, like, the typical kind of snare pieces and stuff, and a little bit of kit. I can't remember what the name of the band was, but it was like concert band.
Yeah.
So I did all of that. And then we also had music prac classes, which we would just play songs, basically. And then that eventuated into VCE over here, which is like our final 2 years of school. So you can actually study music performance. I actually studied drums in year 11. I did the year 12 course in year 11. And man, that was hard, to be honest. Like, some of the pieces in that are wild. Like, there's Virgil Donati pieces and Steve Gadd pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, man, it was good. High school was awesome for music. And my dad actually taught at the high school as well. So
okay.
I'd do music classes with my old man and drum lessons as well. So yeah, it was good, man.
Now I know. Do you guys have marching bands in Australia? Because I know that's kind of like an American thing, because it goes with American football and all of that. I didn't know if like there's like an Australian version of that.
You know what? There is a little bit, but it is definitely not common. It's not in schools. It's not in. I don't think it's in universities. Like they definitely don't really come out before. Like we have Australian rules football over here and rugby.
Yeah.
Very rarely. I know there's a drumline in Melbourne, which is a good one, but I mean that's the only one I'm aware of. I think there's like Scottish bands at special clubs and stuff, but it's fully not a thing that you learn in high school.
Yeah,
which sucks because it looks so cool.
It is. It's fun, but you know when you were talking about you were doing like Chili Pepper songs in band, I'm like, oh, yeah. I would so much rather do that, Yeah, they're completely different things, hey? Yeah, totally.
But that marching stuff is very cool, man. I wish there was more of that over here.
Yeah. Who knows? You can start a movement.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
So when you got out of high school, what was the plan after that?
So after that, I was already in a band made up of mates from school. And throughout school, we were playing just underage shows, and then we started doing overage shows at pubs and things like that. So I grew up in a place called Ballarat, which is an hour outside of Melbourne. So there's probably like maybe 150,000 people in this city and all the little areas around it. So we'd do shows here, and then we kind of started going to Geelong, which is another city. We'd kind of do there's 3 cities here, really, Geelong, Melbourne and Ballarat. We kind of branched out into each. Then we all moved out together, moved to Melbourne, started doing shows down there, and we were selling out shows in Ballarat at the venue. The venue was only like 200 capacity, but like if we sold that out, we were wrapped.
Yeah.
And then from there, I joined a band called Behind Crimson Eyes. And they were like a nationally recognised band, I guess. They were touring around the country and doing good things. They're kind of like a post-hardcore kind of band. So it was like a pretty big jump in terms of like everything, really, from the local band to the touring band.
Yeah.
And then from there, I've just joined a few other bands along the way. There was 28 Days, which I've been playing with them for probably like 6 or 7 years, and then more recently Bliss and Esso, which has still been about probably 3.5, 4 years now. So yeah, it's kind of just been progressing as I've gone along, which has been cool.
And then you also teach on the side, right?
I teach on the side as well, yeah. So I've just moved studios actually. I got my own little studio now, which is cool. I'm just kind of dressing it up to be the ultimate man cave.
Yeah, I'm in my shed, which is the drum where I got my drum set up and my movies. Yeah, it's it's kind of funny because this is the first podcast recorded in what I call the studio. So
awesome.
I'm told I can talk loud. I don't have to worry about waking up my kids. It's awesome.
Awesome, man. I love it. I'm stoked to be the first man in there.
Yeah.
So, man, it's so good just having your own space. I'm getting right into it, man. Like today I was cushion shopping for my couch. Looking at some cool cushions, and man, I've got mics coming in. I'm going to be doing just constant proper videos in there and just punching out content. Yeah. So once the setup is there, then I've got no excuse, So it's just, you know what I mean? It's always like, to do proper videos and that's like, I got to go to the studio and book in and all this stuff. But now if I've just got it there, it's just like there's no reason I can't be punching them out.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Regularly. So it's exciting, man. And my students can punch out videos there too. So
that's cool.
It's exciting, man. I'm pumped. Yeah.
I just want to take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Regal Tip Drumsticks. Regal Tip is so awesome. They've been such a vital part of help growing this podcast. And I just want to take the time to thank them. And to be sure, if you're looking for some drumsticks, go check out our friends at Regal Tip. Go to their website, regaltip.com. You can check out all the sticks that are available. They make excellent brushes. They make excellent drumsticks. And, if you have a question, feel free to reach out to them. They are super helpful when it comes to that. So if you're looking for a certain type of stick, a certain type of length, they can help you out. And I love what they're doing with the the internet drummers, you could say. It's a very collaborative community, and they've like come on board, and I find that so refreshing. So I just want to thank Regal Tip again for their sponsorship. And if you're interested, just send us a message. You can also become a sponsor. But again, if you're looking for a good pair of drumsticks, go to regaltip.com and you will find yourself a collection of great drumsticks. Thanks, Regal Tip. You guys are awesome.
So when it comes, to your classes you're teaching and stuff like that,
Yep.
what you said you're using your dad's, kind of curriculum. Do you kind of
Yep.
have something you mix in as well?
Oh, fully. Yeah. I mean, it varies a little bit for everyone that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, if people just want to learn drums in general, the course is really, really solid and great.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of covers a lot of things, and it progresses nicely, you know what I mean? There's no big jumps or gaps really in anything. But I mean, some guys come in and they just might want to work on writing songs for their band or
Mm-hmm.
playing with the click or tightening up their fills or, just generic stuff. So it kind of just jumps around a little bit from guy to guy, from level to level. But for the most part, I kind of throw guys on the course at some point, like some guys might come in and come into the course at, say, sheet 70 or sheet 90, or we might just zone in and look at certain things from the course. It might be a little bit of Latin, a little bit of reggae, or maybe some double kick stuff. It's all in there. So I often refer to that. But
Nice.
I mean, there's definitely my own little things in there as well, and even playing along to tunes, because I mean, in his course there's no real playing along to songs or anything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, kind of finding songs that relate to the content that's in the course, getting guys to go through the content and then smashing out a song. So what I'll be doing next year is just more student videos, so you might do the first 10 sheets, then we might have a track at the end of that. So everything we learn from the first 10 sheets will be included in that track. And then you've got to teach them how to actually play in time, et cetera, catch accents live, all of that kind of stuff, and film it.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know what I mean? And then they've got like something at the end of it as well. So there's a goal to work towards, and it relates to the content they're learning. And then at the end of it, they're like, hell yeah, look at this. I got this cool video. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone loves that, like, obviously some people aren't fully into it, but a lot of people love watching themselves play drums, and just the whole process is a learning process in itself.
Yeah.
As you know.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I record my practices, and, I put them up on Instagram, and when you're watching yourself, you pick up the things you didn't hear, or you pick up things like, oh, wow, I didn't realize it sounded that way, and
Yep,
you
100%.
You can improve on it. But,
absolutely, man.
It's funny right now, the kids, I say kids, they're hungry for, having someone instructing them, where it was the exact opposite when I was in high school. It was all about, I'm going to do it on my own. I don't need help,
Yeah. And there's pros and cons to both, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's actually probably no cons really to getting lessons off someone, except that you might have to pay for it. Apart from that, there's not, getting lessons is awesome. Especially if it can just fast track your learning, there's some awesome drummers here who've taught themselves and then eventually kind of got onto theory. I've spoken to a few guys like that, which was a surprise because they're so damn good that I thought they would have definitely had lessons from the get-go.
Yeah.
But I guess everyone's different. But at some point you have to learn. You kind of got to know what's going on. I mean, just in terms of counting or, a little bit of reading doesn't hurt, just so that opens up the door to more content that you can learn.
Oh, yeah,
so,
totally.
Yeah, I mean, what I try to do is teach guys how to read not like crazy, but like if they can kind of read, I can just give them sheets to go away and practice and open up new ideas. Whereas if you can't read, it's kind of a little bit harder to pick up on things. You might have to watch a video 20 times and kind of remember it, as opposed to just having it in front of you and, you know, working through it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and, you know, I think now, you know, with the internet and everything else, it's hard to be, you know, it's hard to be a dickhead, you know, when it comes to
fully.
Just in everything, not just drums, but just in life in general. You know, you get called out really quick when you know, are being too showboaty and, you know, I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, no, you're not, you know, and it humbles you. And I think it's good.
Yeah, it is, man. It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But as you were saying with the practice thing, I put up a video, I think it was the second last video I put up. It was like a GoPro video that I actually shot from my head. I had a GoPro on my head.
Yeah.
I was just giving it a bit of a go to see how it looked. And it's funny, like you pick up on things, man. There's one little fill I do where I start it too late. And I don't know if anyone really knows it, but every time I watch it, I just get like this little shiver down I'm like, it's late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was fretting tonight because I was trying to find some random video to put up of me, you know, and I'm like, I was not feeling it yesterday. I was tired, you know, I was on edge, you know, and so I just kind of, I'm like, this one's all right. We'll just clip it to where the best part is, and you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I feel you. Sometimes you're just not feeling it. Sometimes I sit down and I play and I'm like, oh my God, this is hard. I'm not good today. Like, I'm just going to give it a rest. Yeah.
Well, it's
sometimes you sit down and you're like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
I'm ripping it today.
Well, I want to talk about your drums. We talked about, your Pearl kit you got, but you're rocking Zildjians, correct?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Has that been your company
all the way? So
the whole time?
I am. Yeah, I'm rocking the Zildjians, man. I've been rocking the Zildjians ever since I was a kid. Or I have fond memories of being a young fella and just thinking, when I'm 18, I'm going to get a big Zildjian tattoo on me.
Yeah, totally.
Thank God I didn't do that. Not that it's a great brand, but I don't endorse getting tattoos. Of them. But yeah, man, I've been rocking them forever. And yeah, that's all I use now. So I go through phases. So because I play in different groups, I kind of like different setups. So with my like heavier band stuff, like say Behind Crimson Eyes and 28 Days, I like just A crashes. And I've always used the K Crash ride. I've got a 21 Brilliant K Crash ride. Which
nice.
Just sounds just awesome for everything. And then the hip hop stuff I play with Bliss and SO, I generally like smaller cymbals, like a few stacks and a few. I've got 3 little 14-inch AFX cymbals. I've got a couple of little splashes, Oriental Splash and a little K Splash. Just like short, sharp little accents. So I'm not too powerful. You know what I mean? I'm not overbearing up the back when the boys are trying to rap and whatnot. Just got short little accents so I can catch little vocal phrases and stuff without being too full on, I guess. But I find that with those little cymbals and stuff, when I'm trying to play the heavier stuff, they're not quite enough. I need a bigger, some bigger crashes and stuff. But yeah, no, rocking the Zildjians, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been rocking the Zildjians for a while, and I was hesitant. I was gonna change to Meinl. I'm like, and I got 1 or 2 cymbals. I'm like, I can't do it. So I went back, and I'm in love with. I have a one of the 20-inch Oriental Crashes of Doom or Crash of Doom.
Oh, nice!
I love that cymbal. It's a great, like you can ride it, but then you can really lay into it and get a nice, just powerful cymbal.
That's cool. I've seen. I've never used one, but I was watching Eminem play live. I think it was for like a radio station in the UK, BBC or something. Is it NBC or something?
Yeah.
Whatever it is over there. But his drummer had that crash, and it sounded incredible. Like to the point where I actually noticed what cymbal he was hitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which often doesn't happen. You just kind of listen to a drum and you're like, oh, that's cool. But he had this crash. I was like, wow, what is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one, man. So I've got to check one out in person.
Yeah. I wanted one for years, and I finally got one. I got it on the cheap. Really, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm getting the cymbal for this price. And like, I've been wanting one since I was like 14. You know, I'm like,
right. Yeah.
You know, 20, you know, or 10 years. Hang on, how old am I? No, 20 years. Gosh, I'm old.
Yeah.
I'm 34. So I'm like trying to figure it out. You know, 20 years I've wanted this crash, and now I'm finally getting it. I finally got it. So.
Oh man, that's so good. I remember like same thing when I was a kid. I'd get like a China cymbal for Christmas. The first China I got was a K, dark K China, 17-inch. And like I remember just waiting, getting that cymbal is heaven, man. When you're a kid, like you don't really have any money, so like getting a cymbal like that is huge. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's good stuff.
And you know, were you always a Pearl fan, or did you just kind of fall into it?
So for me, I always liked custom kits, man. I love custom kits. So I was a big fan of the Orange County when they were kind of rocking. And then SJC and Truth, etc., etc. I did have an Orange County for a few years, and then I moved over to Pearl. So basically, I mean, obviously, you know, you got your big drum brands, and they're all, as much as there's little differences between them, they're all kind of pretty good, really. Like Pearls and DWs and Tums, they're all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, and truthfully, over here, the distributor who does like Zildjian, Remo, Pearl, and Vic Firth, it's all the same company. So I had a good relationship with their artist manager Justin, and I was just like, you know what I mean? Like Pearl drums are good, they sound great. I know Justin, he's an awesome dude. I know it's going to work. So that's kind of how that started a few years ago. But yeah, man, it's been awesome. I mean, that distribution company been so good to me and so good to so many drummers over here.
Nice.
You know, even when I wasn't doing much really, like, you know, you have lulls like where a band like stopped playing shows. Like there was times where I wasn't really doing much and I was still supporting me. But yeah, so I kind of just came to Pearl through that pretty much. And it's really because he's just such a good dude.
Yeah.
You know, and the drums are obviously really good as well.
Yeah, and I'm super impressed with the Pearl. They've upped their game recently, in my opinion.
They have, man.
You know,
I mean, the reference stuff is sick. Like those reference drums sound amazing and they look awesome. They're kind of like they almost got like those custom lug. You know, the lugs are a little different. They're a little cooler looking. Like the reference snare I have is insane. And I'm loving the crystal beat, man. Like I just chuck on clear Emperor skins on it, and it's so easy to tune. It's got a pretty good range with the tuning for it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's quite a large sweet spot. It's super easy to tune, man. And I can tune my toms really high, like the 8 and 10, and I can tune them really low. It's easy, and it just sounds good. So, yeah, man, I'm loving it. And I got the drum lights in there too, so it looks bloody cool.
Oh, yeah, it looks cool. But, like, you know, between you and then, you know, Stan Bricknell? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm
Have you had him on the show?
Not yet.
You got to get him on.
Yeah, I've got to get him on. I think it was Seamus that had him on.
Yes, he did, yeah.
A couple months back. But,
man.
After hearing, you know, he's just recording with his iPhone. You're like, these drums sound so awesome. You know?
They sound amazing, man. I've learnt a few tricks off Stan. I stole his stack. He's got this stack. It's a 12 Oriental China with a like kind of upside down, so the edges kind of point towards the roof.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. And then the 14 effects on top, or a 16 effects. I've got a 14 on top. That stack sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So it's good, man. He's good. He lets his, you know, he doesn't keep too many secrets to himself. He shares his little goodies with the boys, which is good.
yeah, totally. Yeah. He's such just like a whatever kind of, he's like, you know, I'm not going to post for a while. See you guys. You're like, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's funny. I don't think he was expecting his page to blow up like it has.
Yeah.
So he's just kind of just doing it for fun, and he just loves drums.
Yeah,
which is awesome, man. Like he's just doing his thing, and he's the man. He gets man, his page. How's this? He gave me a shout out on his page probably 6 months ago. He was like, "Oh, shout out to Dan. You know, this guy's a hardworking drummer." And posted one of my clips, and man, I got like 800 new followers from that.
Wow.
And yeah, dude, like his page is bananas with like just how many people are on it and responsive to it. Because I've had other shout outs from other companies and stuff, and like you might get 100 or something like that, or a couple of hundred from like a big brand, but Stan's page is next level.
Yeah, I know.
He's got it on lock, that guy.
Yeah. And I love, he posts the questions, and his answers sometimes are just so like, this dude
classic.
He's just like, I'm gonna give it to you straight, and that's the way you're getting it. I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it was funny. I posted something a while back, and some kid jumped on there. He would have been like 20 or something, and he wrote this little rhyme. It was like, Dan's the man. He plays in a cool band, but Dan's the second man because Stan's the number one man, or something like this. And like Stan jumped on, and Stan's like, "Hey, buddy, that was a dick move, buddy. Take that back." And this kid's like, "Oh man, I was just joking, man. Like, I love your work." He's like, "Nah, dude, dick move." And this kid fully was like, "Oh, sorry, boys. Like, oh yeah, it was a dick move. I can see how you can see it." So like, Stan was just jumping in there for me. What the legend he is. Funny, man. He just calls it how it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is the question I always ask on the podcast is, what is your worst gig you've ever had?
Oh man, I've had a few, to be honest. I've had heaps. Like just fresh off the top of my head, I had a gig recently in Fiji, which is like a little island, kind of off New Zealand, I guess. And in Fiji, they don't really have backline, so we got there, and I didn't really have a kit.
I see where this is going.
And somehow they just kind of scraped together like this kit, like the kick drum skin was like gaffer taped up. I didn't even use the toms. That's how horrific they were.
Oh my god!
And my drum seat, it was a gig for Monster Energy. My drum seat was 3 cartons of Monster Energy drinks, and like that was my get-up. But I still made it happen. But the gig actually turned out to be awesome, funnily enough. Worst gig ever. But, oh, man, I could probably tell you heaps of stories like that. I don't necessarily have, like, just a worst one ever.
Some people are hesitant.
There's been some shockers.
Yeah, some people are hesitant to say, like, what the worst one was. Because then, someone, something cosmically is going to happen. Be like, nope, this is going to be your worst one. You're like, no! Yeah, man, I've done plenty of gigs where, like, no one's there. They always suck the vibe out of you pretty quickly. I've done them all, man. But yeah, nothing in particular really stands out like too horrific. But there's been a lot of bad ones for sure. Oh yeah, it's one of those things. You kind of it makes you a better musician because you gotta mentally prepare yourself, but also getting 3 stacks of energy drinks to play on. That's just part of the game.
Yeah, it is. It's a part of the game. It's all good, man. I like it. As you said, it just makes you better. And I guess when you rock up to gigs and the kit sucks or things aren't the way you like them or you prefer them, the more and more you've done of it, the less and less it affects you, really. Like a lot of the time at gigs with some of my bands, one of the bands, 28 Days, I don't play with in-ears or anything like that. There's no click or anything. But I mean, with my foldback, I don't even really ask for anything now because I've had so many crap foldback mixes that I just know how to play the songs and I just play them and the boys kind of follow follow me. I guess I'm the timekeeper. So
Yeah.
So some people get really caught up on stuff like that, but I'm just like, she'll be right. I don't know what's going on. Let's just go.
Yeah, let's just roll with it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So who are some of the drummers that you're really into right now?
Well, funny that you ask. So I've thought about this, right? Because I thought you might have asked me this question. And to be honest, man, I literally spend my time looking at local drummers. So like the guys over here that I follow, one's obviously Stan. I'm looking at his stuff all day, every day. Mm-hmm. There's another guy over here called Ben Illingworth who plays for a really big Australian artist called Illy. He's like probably one or two biggest guys over here at the moment.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Stevie Cat Jr. is Stan's best mate, and he plays for Kimbra. And he also plays for an Aussie rapper called Seth Sentry. I also followed a guy called Troy Wright. Have you heard of him?
I haven't. I'll have to check him out.
Troy Wright, like he's large on YouTube, and he plays now for, well, I don't know if he's filling in for a group called the Amity Affliction, who are like a really big Australian band. Mm-hmm. They do arenas and stuff here, so he's a freak, so I'll follow him quite closely. There's another guy over here called Matty Best who plays for a band called Tonight Alive. I follow him. There's an Aussie dude called Matt Maguire. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's getting as popular as like Cooper drums on. Yeah, but he's like pretty insane, like really cool style, high energy. But he plays for the Chainsmokers now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't actually know him. I know all of the other boys, but I don't know him. But I definitely follow what he's doing because, I mean, it's cool for me to watch because he's just like a 23-year-old kid who has just been doing YouTube videos for probably 5 years, constantly, hammering them out, just working his butt off. And then, when he gets, he's got offered this gig and he's just gone straight to the big league. He's touring the States in arenas and doing all sorts of wild stuff. So it's pretty cool to watch, just a young kid playing drums in the studio, busting his ass, going from playing with no group to playing with a monster group like that.
Yeah.
So it's cool to watch that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're kind of like on the regular. They're the guys that I'm kind of looking at. And I'm always looking at Travis as well. And Frank Zumo from Sum 41.
Wow, great dude. I had Frank on the podcast. He's a great guy.
Man, he's cool. And I've listened to him. He did a podcast I listened to. Can't remember who it was with, but it was I can't remember what the podcast was called. But anyway, I listened to it, and he was cool, man. He had a cool energy and a cool vibe, and I actually reached out to him after that because I thought, damn, this guy's cool. I like what he's doing, and I like his energy, and I like kind of how he's making things happen for himself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It seems like he's just a hard worker, and he's got his head screwed on, and he's just going for it. And his name just pops up everywhere now. Yeah,
it was so weird because his publicist or manager or whatever reached out to me. They're like, "Hey, do you want Frank on?" I'm like, "Do I want Frank on?" Yeah, yeah. And I was like,
"Awesome!"
I was so blown away. I'm like, again, I am just some random schmuck in a storage shed in North Carolina, and it's just. Mine is blown.
Yeah, man. And he's just like an approachable guy, and he writes back to me on Facebook, and, I've had a few little chats, and I was out in LA probably 2 months ago, and I went out to Remo to have a look around the factory, and, I was chatting to the guy out there, and he's like, "Yep, Frank Zumo's coming out. He's got this..." Well, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, dude. I think it just dropped out.
Yeah, the internet here is weird sometimes.
Yeah, it's been good so far.
Yeah, I know. I was like, stay, hold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the last thing I heard was Frank was coming to the Remo place.
Yeah, he was going to the Remo place, and he was working on some special skin he was getting them to make for the cover of one of his bass drum heads. And yeah, just an example of like just hearing his name everywhere, you know, and just him getting things done. It's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. And so the music that you're into, is it, you know, still those local guys or anything that you kind of, that's, you know?
Yeah. So, you know, I don't know if you've seen it, but Spotify are doing like the top songs you listen to in 2017.
Yeah. Yep.
Like on the app. So like for me, the top few were 30 Seconds to Mars. Man, I have been hammering their record, This Is War. It's like an old one.
Yeah.
But like it's, you know, they're like anthems, and Jared Leto's the man. So I've been listening to that a lot, and funnily enough, I listen to Bliss and Esso a lot. They're up there in the top couple. What else? I've been listening to Neck Deep a little bit. They're like a pop punk band. Who else has popped up in the top? Like Bring Me the Horizon, I've been giving them a good listen.
Yeah.
Always listening to like Blink and like Unwritten Law, like an old time favourite of mine. But it's funny, man, I kind of just stick to a lot of the stuff that I know. Yeah, I don't really have a huge eclectic taste or a huge array of artists that I listen to, man. I find myself just listening to this same stuff over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's like, you're listening to The Police again? I'm like, yes. And?
Yep.
Yeah, what's the question?
Yep.
Yeah. But it's funny.
Exactly.
This year for me, it's been, I've called it like the funk year. Like everything I've wanted to listen to, I feel like I'm always a little behind. I'm like, I've all of a sudden become a huge Earth, Wind and Fire fan. Like,
oh, nice.
I listened to them, you know, growing up. My parents would play them, but you know, it was just in the background. But like after the, you know, Maurice, the lead singer, band leader, when he passed away, I'm like, oh, I need to check out this band. Everyone's talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, I love this band. You know, yeah,
epic, man. Yeah, it's funny how you get onto things. Yeah, but definitely, man. 30 Seconds to Mars have been a big one for me this year. Like their film clips are epic. With so Jared Leto directs their clips.
Yeah,
he calls himself Bartholomew something. He has like an alias. So man, I've been watching a lot of their clips and like watching a lot of their live acoustic sessions and things like that. And yeah, a lot of the time, man, I go for runs and I'll listen to Bliss and Esso, like the group I play for. I mean, one, I love their songs. And two, this is a little bit weird, but when I run, I imagine playing the songs live. So I'm kind of like almost rehearsing. And I'm also just kind of like envisioning things. Like I'll start envisioning the next gig before it even happens, or before I even know what it's going to look like. So we've got a gig on New Year's Eve. I went for a run today and I was listening to them and I just kind of envision how the gig's going to go, which is kind of a little bit weird, but like it kind of gives me a different feeling when I'm listening to the music as opposed to just listening to it. It kind of adds another element to the experience. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, you know, it'd be terrible to be in a band and not like the music you're playing.
Oh man, it would suck.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm sure guys do it, but man, yeah, that would be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be like me, you know, being in a country band, and I hate country music, you know?
Yeah. Like, man, I definitely like music that has, like, pretty high energy. That's why I kind of like the hardcore stuff or, like, punk stuff or, like, hip-hop, you know? It's kind of heavy. Even though hip-hop's generally kind of slow, it's still heavy and kind of big beats.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's pretty cool, man. I'm very lucky that all the bands I'm in I love. You know, I listen to them frequently. So yeah,
nice.
A little bit different, but it's cool, man. Yeah.
Well, you know, like going back to my son, you know, he's he loves this song. Well, it's not even a Korn. It's Korn's performing "Kidnap the Santa Claus" from Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a hardcore version of it, and he just loves it. it's Ray Lazier playing. So he's just he's a beast. And my son's like, mocking it out. I'm like, this kid gets it. He's got it. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's funny to see kids react to music like that.
Yeah, because I was kind of like, I was playing it kind of like to see how he would react, but more or less I was trying to see how my wife would react. And she's like, right. What are you playing him? And he's in the back seat just like head banging. I'm like, yep, he loves it. Sorry.
No, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got good taste.
Yeah. So to end the podcast, I guess two things. What do you like to do, other than play drums? Do you have any other hobbies or?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, pretty much. I'll give you a rundown of kind of what I do. So, I mean, I work for Monster Energy during the days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we didn't get into that. So I kind of work for them. I look after Victoria, which is the state Melbourne's in.
Yeah.
I work with Coca-Cola, so I kind of work with those guys. I also go to the gym or I go for runs.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do one a day. And then, man, I'm teaching drums. And then apart from that, man, that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. Like I don't really do too much else, to be honest. I'm kind of working. Mm-hmm. And no other real hobbies apart from like running or going to the gym. That's about it.
It's good. I think, one, you're staying healthy and, it's something that you can escape to that's, not drums or, work.
Exactly, man. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, drums take up a lot of time, especially because I teach.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I love it. I love teaching though, man. I mean, teaching's different to playing, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of about it, man, to be honest.
That's all right. I mean, well, yeah. I ask because you get some people they're drums, and then you got other people. It's like, oh, I like to hike or I like to go.
Yeah.
I'm a movie buff, so I enjoy going to the movies when I can. So that's my thing. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess this, the second question is, what advice would you have for, a new, young drummer?
Yeah. So depending on, I guess, how young and all that and whatnot. Say if it was a teenager who wanted to be in a band, my advice would be maybe get yourself a good teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's relatable, someone who you like the way they play,
mm-hmm.
maybe someone who you like maybe the groups they're in or the style they have, or just someone who's extremely knowledgeable, even older or whatever, and just learn as much about the drums as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to read, learn how to write, learn how to play different styles, and then do things that, if some of that is considered work, like if it feels like you're doing a little bit of work, do some stuff which is just fun, like learn some songs that you like. Or, for me, it was just getting into artists that I liked growing up, and that's kind of where I really started putting a lot of work in.
Mm-hmm.
And then further to that, you need to play with other musicians, like find someone at your school that, plays guitar or is a singer or a rapper or someone who plays bass or whatever, just someone who you get along plays an instrument,
mm-hmm.
and just start working on tunes, do covers, write songs, just get active. And then I guess once you start doing that, you just get better and you learn along the way and you meet other guys, and then you can just kind of go from there, really. So it's all just about putting time in and kind of having to think about what you want to get out of it, what you ideally want to be doing, and then just chipping away at it and putting in the effort and the time.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. And I think, like you said, finding other musicians to play with. I think, there's so many drummers who will go to their basement or their garage and they're playing by themselves, and, that's good. You're getting that practice in, but I think having the companionship of other musicians, learning how to play as a band, that's super important.
Fully, man. And it's, learning how to play with other musicians, and actually going and getting gigs and things like that. It's a whole different experience to when you're just sitting in the room playing drums, alone. Makes it a hell of a lot more fun.
Oh yeah, totally.
For one, and it's an awesome way to just build awesome relationships with people as well. Like a lot of my best friends are guys I've been in bands with. You know what I mean? So it's like a relationship pretty much when you're in a band, as you know. Yeah.
Yeah. You get those tense times where you're at each other's throats, and then there's times like, oh, I love you guys so much. We're awesome,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, man, that's it. You just got to start playing with other guys, and then you've always got goals to hit as well. Like let's do a gig here. Okay, we're at the bottom of the bill. Okay, let's try to get to the top of the bill.
Yeah.
And then you hit the top of the bill. All right, let's try to sell it out. Let's try to play here. Let's try to play with this band. Oh, we're getting good. Let's record. Let's do this. There's just a never-ending list of fun things to do. And it gives you a sense of actually. Well, you are going, as you tick those things off, you're actually moving in a direction, so it's a good feeling as opposed to just playing in the room.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I found the video. It's jamming with my brother, DJ.
Oh, DJ Ism.
Yeah, that's the video, I was flipping through and he's like, let's look at that one. That's the one he liked. So.
Sick. Okay, so what that is, that's so during the Bliss and Esso set. So Bliss and Esso, the two MCs, one's Bliss, one's Esso, and then there's the DJ Ism. So we'd do a show. It's maybe, man, the show went forever. It was like an hour and 50, I think was our headline set. So halfway through that set, myself and DJ Ism do a drum DJ type mashup thing. So he starts, he does like this crazy kind of juggling, scratching, because he's an amazing DJ. He'll do like maybe 4 minutes by himself. Then he invites me on the stage and we just kind of do a mashup of some tracks. So that track that your son would have heard is by a group called Hermitude, who are Australian. They're like an electronic act. Yeah, so that's not actually our song. So that's just during our drum DJ set where we kind of mash up songs and flip them around a little bit. Yeah, which is really cool, man, because myself and DJ Ism, we kind of go into it at about 80% in terms of we know what we're going to do 80%. 20% is whatever happens on the night.
Nice.
So it kind of like sometimes there's magic and we're like feeling each other, like in terms of like what's the DJ isn't going to throw at me, and I can kind of sense what's coming.
Yeah. And
then we nail it. And sometimes it's like, oh dear, where are we going? What's he doing? What am I doing? Oh Jesus, where's this going? And then, you know what I mean? We kind of like, I might slightly get out of time or whatever, and then I have to pull it back in and and we bring it back together. But it's kind of cool because sometimes if you're doing a big tour and everything's just the same, can maybe get a little bit boring, or like maybe the energy isn't as vibrant. But when you're kind of like, you're going in with a little bit of like, oh, what are we doing tonight? When there's magic, but sometimes it can be a bit loose, you know what I mean, as well. That's the downside of it. But it's fun kind of when we do, like when he does a juggle and it's a little bit out with what I'm doing or whatever, we have to bring it back together. You know what I mean? We have to bring it back in together. So that's kind of like a challenge and fun in itself, because you're kind of like, oh man, we're riding the wave here. We're about to drop off it. Boom, we're pulled back in. We're sweet. So that's, man, that's cool. That's a fun part.
And it was fun because, the crowd is like really into it. They're dancing, jumping up and down, really having a time.
Fully, man. It's good. Like, so that was from the last tour I did with Bliss and Esso. We did, it was about 35 shows around Oz and New Zealand. And then when the boys, like, the crowds to Bliss and Esso are just super responsive. Like, as soon as the band's out, people are jumping or there's hands in the air. Like, they're pretty wild for Bliss and Esso. But we've done a few gigs where you know, they're not our headline shows. So we played at the Formula One here in Melbourne this year. And it was kind of cool, man, because, you know, at the start there might have been maybe 500 people in this kind of like Heineken beer garden type thing. And the boys came out, and like normally you come out and like the whole crowd, their hands are up. But, you know, we came out and like there might have been 10 people with their hands up. And you're like, okay, we're going to have, okay. So, man, it was the first time I'd ever played with the boys, and I had to watch them work the crowd to the point where, like, the end of the set, there would have been maybe 2,000 people there, and like 90% of their hands are up. You know, there's like 1,000 hands up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool watching them work the crowd when it isn't necessarily their crowd, and bring them in and make them a part of the show. It was a cool little perspective from up the back.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, to see the, oh, okay, yeah, now I'm getting into this. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah. It was really weird because I was just so used to them just dominating, you know, at their own show, as you would expect. But then, like, to an unfamiliar crowd, kind of like, oh dear, okay. And then just watch the boys work and then bring them in by the end. It was definitely a credit to them. It was pretty cool to watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, so where can people find you on the internets, you know?
Yeah, so just Instagram's probably my main one. That's just at Dan Kerby, DANKERBY. And my Facebook is DK Drums Academy, which is my drum school. Website, dkdrums.com. And that's about all. That's where you find me. YouTube, I'm on DK Drums. So it's all there. If you can just find one of them, they all link up.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, man, thanks for having me on the podcast, mate. I know it's been a busy time for you with the pregnant wife and whatnot. So, and I know it's late over there, so I appreciate you staying up, man, and having a chat to me from your man cave.
Oh yeah, no problem. I you know, every time I do a podcast, I'm like, I can't believe I get to do this. This is so much fun, you know?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I love what you're doing, man. You do a really good job, and I appreciate it, brother. Hey, are you heading over to NAMM?
Maybe. I'm still working. The work might has thrown me a curveball, but it might be a good curveball. So
cool.
So if I'm there, the curveball, you know, something didn't work out with. Hopefully, I'm going to be getting promoted here soon. So that will cause me not be able to go to NAMM. But if I don't get it,
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a win-win either way.
Yeah. So I'll know here probably at the end of the month, you know, what's happening. Cool. So
awesome. Well, I'm heading over for it, man. So
yeah,
let's keep in touch, and and if you're there, we'll catch up.
Oh yeah, to meet all these people I see would be so much fun. You know,
it'd be awesome, man. Yeah.
Well, cool,
I'm
man.
pumped to get across there. So awesome, bro. Thank you again. And
no problem.
Hopefully or not hopefully, I'll catch you at NAMM.
Yep.
One or the other.
One or the other. Yeah,
one or the other, man.
Everybody will know, and if I'm not out there, Mason, who helps me hit, I think he's going to be out there. So, you know.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Drumheads will be there in some capacity.
Awesome. Well, I'll meet one of the drumheads. I'm looking forward to it, man.
All right, man. Well,
spot on.
Again, thank you. I was trying to think through the whole conversation. I don't think I learned that reckon is like a huge Australian word that everyone says. And
yeah, I got pretty bad slang.
And
sorry.
I don't think I heard it though. I was listening for it because I'm like, when I was in LA, I was doing social media for a festival, and the two other people working with me were both from Melbourne, and they kept saying reckon, and I'm like, I love that word. That is so cool. And yeah.
Okay, I didn't say it. Well, that's good because my slang can be pretty bad at times. So,
yeah,
man, I'm happy that I didn't drop reckon in there.
Well, I mean, you could have. Well, you know, I was like, say it, you know, kind of, you know, it's such a.
I reckon.
Yeah. Well, it's you know, it's just one of those cool terms you know, or words you learn, you know, through the international community, and you're like, I like that. So I started using it in my daily life because.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool,
yeah,
man.
That's a good one. All right.
Well, all right. Well,
Good stuff, man. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you for being on, and we'll see you guys next time. I've always trying to figure out how to end these podcasts. It's so awkward.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at.
Yeah.
I might see you at NAM. Thanks for the chat.
No
and
problem.
I'll speak
man.
to you afterwards.
All right. Well, I'm
You're the man.
gonna hit stop on the record. Thank you for listening to the Drumheads podcast. Remember to go subscribe to us on iTunes. Leave us positive reviews. Like it. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell everybody. Also, be sure to go like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Like us on or follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're going to be putting up more YouTube videos here soon. And just thank you for everybody's support. And if you want to support the show, go to our Patreon page and become a Patreon member. That helps support the show. All that money comes back, and we reinvest it into making a better show for you guys. But thanks again for listening to the Drumheads. See ya.